It was Dr. Gerald Bergman who lectured here and described one of the so-called missing links that for 20 years was paraded by the evolutionary community as evidence for evolution. Well, she simply had an enzymatic problem with the enzyme, the protein, that manifested the hair on her face in a coarse context. The hair's there, but with her it expressed itself like the hair on her head. So she was a missing link automatically. But she spoke 7 different languages. How many of you speak 7 languages? She could read, she could write, she could discourse. She was as intelligent as the average individual, more intelligent than the average individual, but she was paraded because of an enzymatic problem which expressed the hair on her face in a coarse manner. Well, this lady's obviously very intelligent. She has broad shoulders. Is there justification for all of that? Well, let's see. This is the portrayal of Lucy. Introduction. Creationist Marvin Lubenow, who's a friend of this museum, I don't think he's been down for a number of years, but a very fine scholar, writes, in the alleged process of humans evolving from primates, evolutionists have considered the most important event to be the evolution of bipedal locomotion, the ability to stand upright, to walk on 2 legs for some distance, the ability to walk upright for extended distances. This event is even more important than, to the evolutionists, the enlargement of the brain or the fabrication of stone tools. However, there is trouble on the ground. Now let's see if there's really justification for Lucy to convince us that we came from lower primates. The technical citations are here. The discovery of Lucy in 1974 by Donald Johansson's team, and that's the likeness of Donald Johansson, is celebrated. We'll read momentarily that this particular discovery catapulted him from an incidental researcher to the limelight in paleoanthropology. Well, there he holds Lucy's skull. Well, but wait a minute. That's not what he found. He found the mandible, the lower jaw. He found a few fragments of the skull. That's all he found. But when put together, she had a very small skull. The rest of that is fabrication. By the way, we have, of course, for the first time on public display, our replica of all that he discovered in Lucy. So, with the discovery of Lucy in 1974, and almost simultaneously the discovery of the Laetoli footprints in 1978, and it was Aaron Judkins who was able to acquire for us a copy of the Laetoli footprints. Don't look, but they're on display to the left. I'm trying to stay on schedule, so watch closely. These Laetoli footprints have arches. Apes don't have arches to their footprints. They're flat-footed. These Laetoli footprints have imprinting. That is, one individual can deliberately step in the prints of another individual who's gone before. Often that's done to keep you from slipping in the slippery mud. It's done in stalking animals, quite often in the jungles of Cambodia. It's been observed that the skilled natives step in the tracks of the tigers they're stalking, hoping one's not stalking them from behind. To the right, we see a photograph of these Laetoli prints, one after the other, not in a waddling profile as the apes do. When they walk, Australopithecine afarensis included, the Lucy kind, when they walk, if they're able to walk for a period of time and they can walk only for a few steps, or the pygmy chimp can walk for an extended time, but he doesn't practice that. But they still waddle. They waddle like an ape that they are. But the discovery of both of these together And the fact that in the vicinity of the Laetoli prints, in the vicinity, were found Lucy's cousins, Australopithecines, apes. The entire evolutionary community was convinced, wanted to be convinced, and propagated the idea that now we have evidence that Lucy and her kin walked upright because these tracks were in a straight line. So the discovery of the Laetoli footprints in 1978 by Mary Leakey's team, both dated at more than 3 million years. How did they get those dates? They made them up. They assigned them, assuming that evolution was true and that the apes had diverged slightly in order to become bipedal, that is, to be able to walk upright. There's no difference in the date of those bones than the date of the dinosaur bones we're excavating in Colorado, the date of human bones among the Indians that they excavated in West Texas. So this was welcome, however, confirmation to evolutionists of early evolution of bipedalism. So they simply stated what they wanted to be true